It is a beautiful day in the beautiful city of Lagos, and I wish every one of you a beautiful day. Some will say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Today in our English course, we shall focus our attention on adverbial clause. We shall look into the types of adverbial clause, the functions of each of the types of adverbial clause, and examples of the functions and types of adverbial clause. So to start with, I implore you all to please get your pen, paper, and mind ready to benefit maximally. It is pertinent for us to know first what an adverbial clause is. An adverbial clause is a subordinate clause, a better or dependent clause that performs the function of an adverb in a sentence. Remember that an adverb modifies a verb in a sentence. It can also modify an adjective or another adverb in a sentence. For example, you always say, "That is very good." Good is an adjective, but it has a modifier, very, very good. Very is modifying the adjective good. So we have an adverb here that modifies an adjective. In some other sentences, we have adverbs modifying another adverb, and the one that is very popular is adverb modifying a verb in a sentence. But in this lesson, our focus is on adverbial clause. We have seen that an adverbial clause does the work of an adverb. It answers the questions where, when, how often, for what purpose, to what effect, and the rest of them. This is because the adverbial clause has different types. But let us look at a general view of an adverbial clause using an example. If you look at this sentence, he ran away when the dog barked at him. The boy wasn't running. But when did he start to run? You will say when the dog barked at him. Excellent. But remember, we have learned subordinate conjunctions. If you have forgotten, please search from this channel, Joel Egbona. Go to the video conjunctions. There are 4 types of conjunctions treated. Remember that when you get there, your focus will be on subordinate conjunctions. So if you remember that video now, let's proceed. Are you able to identify the subordinate conjunction in this sentence? Oh, beautiful. You are smart. That's when. So if when is the subordinate conjunction, we also learned when we were teaching subordinate clauses that when we are able to spot the subordinate conjunction, the subordinate clause is likely to begin from where the subordinate conjunction is. Oh, you have identified the subordinate clause. Beautiful. When the dog barked at him. So when the dog barked at him, automatically is what? The adverbial clause we are looking at. And that is what we call the grammatical name. The grammatical name is adverbial clause. But the question is, what is its function? We will ask again. The boy wasn't running, but at a time he started running. At what time? When the dog barked at him. So you can see that when the dog barked at him is the adverbial clause that depends on the main clause, he ran away, to function. But we are not going to use everything in the runaway. We are going to pick a word there. Remember, we have said the grammatical name is what? Adverbial clause. So when the dog barked at him, he's telling us something. The action performed. When did he perform the action? So it is modifying that action that is performed in the main clause, which is what? Ran. So we could say It functions as a modifier to the verb run or to the verb phrase run away. So in that way, the grammatical function is it modifies the verb run away. So we can see that the adverbial clause does much work. This run away is a particle of fled. The boy fled when the dog barked at him. So we don't want to talk much on this now. We have seen the introduction. It is high time we went straight to the types of adverbial clauses. Adverbial clauses are of various types and they perform the same function of modifying the verb in the main clause or the adjective or another adverb in the main clause of the complex sentence in which they occur. They occur in the verb, adjective, or adverb that they modify are in the main clause of the complex sentence. So let us see some types. The first one we're going to look at is called adverbial clause of time. Adverbial clause of time tells us about when something happens. We can use conjunctions like when, whenever, before, after, as, while, until, as soon as, since, and so on to show the time that an action has taken place. So once we see any of the conjunctions on your screen, they are likely to tell us time of an action. Let's look at this sentence example. I will come over as soon as I finish eating. I know very well that you have spotted the subordinate conjunction. Is that not so? Yes. So, having spotted subordinate conjunction, we'll talk about that. This sentence can be written as soon as I finish eating, I will come. So note that, and there will be a marker, comma, before the main clause. So let's focus on this now. I will come over as soon as I finish eating. So I know you have spotted the subordinate conjunction, which is as soon as. Beautiful. In other words, as that flyover sentence actually subscribes, as soon as I finish eating, comma, I will come over, same sentence. So look at this. Are you able to spot the subordinate clause? Yes. As soon as I finish eating. It cannot stand alone. It needs the work of I will come over. So what will you ask now? You can see the lady eating. But when will she come over? She says, I will come over. But when? Remember we say when we see the conjunction when, it is likely to tell us time. So we know because it is answering when, it is an adverbial clause of time. And in this case, this as soon as I finish eating is telling all the time I will come over. Therefore, it modifies the verb will come. Is that understood? How do you look at this? While she was cooking, I came in. You may write it down. While she was cooking, I came in. Is it possible you bring out the subordinate conjunction there? While. Good. While she was cooking, subordinate clause. So when did the subject come in? That is I. While she was cooking. So adverbial clause of time modifying verb came in that sentence. So the more you practice, the better you will be. Let's take another one, another type of adverbial clause called the adverbial clause of place. Adverbial clause of place tells us about where something happens. We can use conjunctions as where, wherever, and everywhere in this sentence. So when we spot the conjunctions where, wherever, and everywhere, we are likely to see a adverbial clause of place. Look at this example. We met kind people everywhere we went. We met kind people everywhere we went. Are you able to spot the subordinate conjunction? Very good. Everywhere. So when we spot that and we say everywhere we went, therefore is what? The subordinate clause. What is the grammatical name of the underlined? Wow, we met kind people everywhere we went. You will ask yourself, where did we meet kind people? So once we have spotted the place, we know it's a place we are talking about. We know what grammatical name, and its grammatical name is adverbial clause. And for the fact that we are able to identify that a place is answering where, you know it is a adverbial clause that is modifying the verb meant. How do you look at this example? I will go wherever you go. I will go, full stop, it can work, it can also. But wherever you go, can it work on its own? No. So you ask, I will go where? Wherever you go. So you can see that it's modifying the verb phrase will go. That is what you do. You can just form sentence. What about where? He doesn't know where I kept the book. He doesn't know where. Well, you will say that one is noun clause, right? Good. But it is actually a place. Which place does he not know? Where I kept the book. No problem. The more you practice, the better you will become. Let's get another type, adverbial clause of manner. Adverbial clause of manner shows us something that happens and how it happens. They tell us how something that has happened. And this particular clause usually begins with words like as though, like, as if. There are many. So let's talk with this for. Yes, I said like, as though, as if, and so forth. Look at this sentence. She looked as though she was in pain. Just imagine. How does she look? Or should I say, how did she look because of the sentence I've given? As though she was in pain. So you can see the subordinate conjunction as though. Automatically we have seen the clause as though she was in pain, which cannot stand alone. So because you ask, how does she look? How? Answer the question, how? So we know by asking that question, how, okay, it is an adverbial clause of manner. But what is it doing in the sentence? You could rightly say she looked, full stop. But how did she look? As though she was in pain. Therefore, as though she was in pain is modifying the verb in the main clause, which is looked. So it modifies the verb looked. One could say, just as sugar attracts an ant, so her beauty and congeniality attract customers to her shop. Her beauty and congeniality attract customers to the shop. How? As sugar attracts an ant. You can work on the other one as if, like, construct sentences with them, complex sentences, and you will see that you will be able to identify adverbial clauses of manner and what they perform in the sentences you have constructed. We go to another category, adverbial clause of cause or adverbial clause of reason. Cause or reason. This kind of clause is used to show why something happens. The clause begins with conjunctions as because, since, as, that, and so forth. So when you see conjunctions at the bottom left of your screen, you are likely to see adverbial clause of reason or adverbial clause of cause. Let's take an example. I listen to classical music because it sounds beautiful. Or Since you are so kind to me, I will help you. Good. Let me take this one. Since you are so kind to me, I will help you. Do you notice this expression? What will you say is the subordinate conjunction, right? The subordinate conjunction here is no doubt since. And since we have seen since, definitely we have our subordinate clause till where we have a comma, because since begins a sentence. Once a subordinate conjunction begins a sentence, the subordinate clause stops at where you have the comma. Beautiful. So we call this adverbial clause, right? Adverbial clause modifying the verb will help. For what reason will I help you? Good, since you are so kind to me. So that is it. Let's practice. Always ask yourself, what is this clause doing in this sentence? Without this clause, what will I not understand? You may understand a sentence, but there is something that is being modified. So find out what it does here. We proceed to another type, adverbial clause of condition. Adverbial clause of condition tells us about the circumstances under which something happens. The clause often begins with if, unless, provided that, and so forth. So when you see these kind of conjunctions in a sentence, you are likely to see adverbial clause of condition. Look at this example. You can play the game provided that you follow the rules. You can play the game provided that you follow the rules. Is it possible? Yes. Are you able to spot the subordinate conjunction? Provided that. Beautiful. And the clause, that is the subordinate clause, excellent. So you can play the game on what condition? Because of the verb I emphasize in the main clause, definitely you will be able to spot it. Is that also? Remember, it's adverbial clause. I have spotted the verb because provided that you follow the rules is a condition for you to carry out an action. What action? Play the game. Thus, it modifies the verb can play. Is it difficult? Easy peasy. Excellent. We try as much as possible to play on others. We have used provided that. Why don't you try to use unless? I won't take it unless you apologize for your errors. On what condition will I take it? Unless you apologize for your errors. I will not come to the party if I am not invited. So there's a condition for me to come if I am invited. Is that also? So let's work on each of the linking or leading words we have been given, or should I say the conjunctions we have been given. It will help us out. Let's see if we can take another type of adverbial clause now. We call it adverbial clause of concession or adverbial clause of contrast. Adverbial clause of concession describes contrasting statements or exception in circumstances despite which something happens. Contrasting statements or exception in circumstances despite which something happens. Such sentences or complex sentences usually have the subordinate conjunction beginning with words like although, though, even if, even though, why, whereas, etc. etc. So adverbial clause of concession or adverbial clause of contrast actually tells us contrasting statements or exception as to what has happened. So these are the conjunctions that begin the subordinate clauses in such sentences. Look at that blob. She is broken. Do you see the contrast? She is broken. He is okay. You are surprised, right? She is broken. He is okay. So we should watch out for a certain example on this. If you look at the example, I enjoyed the meal, though it was expensive. I enjoyed the meal, though it was expensive. Oh, there is a contrast. Meal is not supposed to be as expensive as this one is. Nevertheless, I enjoyed it. Do you observe that in this sentence? Beautiful. In that note, are you able to spot the subordinate conjunction? Beautiful. Though. And with that, you are able to spot the subordinate clause. Correct. Though it was expensive. So without much ado, we know it is what? Adverbial clause. And at this point in time, it is describing the verb enjoyed. That is modification. Is it clear? That is for adverbial clause of concession. We also call it adverbial clause of contrast. So it is very pertinent you work on them. You want to play with another conjunction there? Although it rained, they enjoyed their work. Normally, they are not supposed to enjoy their work because it rained. Look at the contrast. It rained, yet they enjoyed their work. So we have a complex sentence. Although it rained, they enjoyed their work. All right. So we can work on it. What about why? Hikmah, while she was almost crying from the pain, decided to finish the race. She is not meant to have finished the race, but she finished the race. You see the contrast? Why she was almost crying from the pain. We can work on each of these conjunctions. I will be very used to it. We shall look at adverbial clause of purpose. Adverbial clause of purpose shows us why something is happening. That is the intended result of something, not reason. It may look like reason, but it's not reason. The intended result. We can use so that, lest, and in order that to look at this expression. You were embarking on the journey. For what purpose? What do you intend to achieve when you're back on this journey? So, have you got a purpose? Let us look at a set example here. Walk carefully lest you should fall. For what purpose should you walk carefully? We have seen the conjunction lest you should fall. Otherwise, so walk carefully. Grammatical name is adverbial clause of purpose, and the grammatical function, beautiful. It modifies the verb walk in a sentence. So you may be surprised. Why are we saying walk is the verb here, the first word? This is a kind of a sentence. We say that when we start a sentence with a verb, it could be imperative or wish. So the sentence is started with a verb and it's a direct address. The speaker is speaking to the spoken to directly. Come here, go there. So I, the speaker, am talking to you. It is not compulsory I put the you. So I could say you walk carefully. You, walk carefully. But I'm not interested because I'm talking to you. You know I'm talking to you. So walk carefully lest you should fall. That's why the sentence stands there. And we are taking walk as the verb it modifies. Are we together? Don't be tired. We are going to the next category, adverbial clause of degree or adverbial clause of comparison. We call it degree or comparison. You want to compare? Which is which is lighter, which is smaller in weight. If we want to identify comparison or degree, we use conjunctions such as than, as, ellipsis as, so, ellipsis as, etc, etc. So we have done. Oh, I repeated down. Well, no problem. Just take one and strike one. So we have done, as, ellipsis as, so, ellipsis as, etc. Adverbial clause of degree or comparison is used to compare things or ideas. Let us look at this example. My brother is older than he looks. If you are able to spot the conjunction, then you are good to go. Done. Good. So you could say my brother is old. That is the main clause. My brother is old. But because of comparison, we have to change the word old to older. My brother is older than he looks. So we say the grammatical name is what? Adverbial clause. And it modifies the adjective older. Is older. Comparing to what? Than he looks. Not than my brother. That's what is not. We are not comparing my brother to my sister. My brother is older than my sister. No, but rather than he looks. That is the expression. So the older there is the adjective our focus is on. Because it is comparison. You are comparing the attribute of one to the other. In this same person, one to the other are referred to an individual. The person's looks and the person's age. You want to pause and think? Yes, you can pause and think. Then, when you have understood, you can replay. You'll be continuing with the clip. So that we'll go to the next one, adverbial clause of effects. Adverbial clause of effect tells us about consequences. You know what's called consequence, right? Result of something. When we talk about consequence, you can see the car crash. You can see the little boy with a POP leg. All right. Sorry for using that expression. So, these clauses often begin with so ellipsis that, such ellipsis that. Let us be careful. They may appear to be reason your purpose. No, they are not. They are what? Consequences. Look at this sentence. I was so tired that I couldn't stay awake. I was so tired that I couldn't stay awake. Do you see the subordinate conjunction in this sentence? So, ellipsis that. Many of you will write, I was so tired, full stop. Wrong. You must tell us what is the consequence of your being tired. So there must be a word between so and that. Because it's a consequence. I am so hungry. What is the consequence of your so hungry, of your being hungry? So I am so hungry that I can swallow a pot of spaghetti. I am so tired that I can't do anything now. I am so happy that I can swim the ocean. So there must be the consequence of your degree. So in this situation, we are going to spot the subordinate conjunction in two places. The first is so, and the second is what? That. You may pause, rewind, and play the video again to hear the explanation. So let's proceed. Having identified the subordinate conjunctions, what then is the subordinate clause? You could see that if we take this thing, we'll have I was tired, full stop. That is the main clause. Therefore, the remaining part of the sentence, so that I couldn't stay awake, remain the subordinate clause. It is tied of the degree of something. So we have the grammatical name, adverbial clause, gets the function that I could, so that I could stay awake. Is it modifying words, I or tired? In this case, it is the adjective tired. It shows the consequence of my being tired. I know you'll be saying, I showed you a picture of a child and the car. Yes. What is the consequence? The car was so damaged that it couldn't be repaired. The accident was so severe that it broke the child's leg. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Beautiful. You could say she is such a good runner that nobody can catch her. Excellent. She's such a good runner that nobody can catch her. So you should try as much as possible to work on all this. What have we been saying? We have been saying so far that adverbial clauses are of different categories, and these clauses are subordinate clauses, dependent or better clauses that need the availability of a verb, an adjective, or another adverb in the main clause to function. When we are able to do this very well, to identify this, we'll be able to identify the functions. But let me give you good news. We have seen the types, right? Time, place, purpose, effect, degree, and the rest we have just looked at. It is not under compulsion you tell us the type. All you should do is find out, is it an adverbial clause, a noun clause, or adjectival clause? So, in our next video,
subscribe.
In our next video, we shall be paying attention to how we can bring noun clause, adjectival clause, and adverbial clause together, and we're able to spot them out. We are going to bring the three together. That will be the part 4 of this series. Until then, remain blessed and highly favored. Please, subscription is free. You are not going to pay for it.